I did it.
Hey everyone, my name is Kevin. Welcome to my channel. I'm going to take a break from my film content and talk about the 10K that I ran at the Rock and Roll Las Vegas last weekend. I've done long distance running before, but that was back in 2020, and I did that through Revel, and that was actually a virtual marathon, so it's nothing compared to the Rock and Roll Las Vegas. Virtual marathons are actually like self-timed, and you get to choose where you run it. So yeah, it's definitely not like an actual run with organizers and logistics and whatnot. So I really didn't know what to expect because this was my first like real run with actual like organizers and whatnot. So yeah, in this video I'll be talking about my experience leading up to the 10K run, during the 10K run, and then what happened when I finally got to the finish line. Yeah, preparation wise, my preparation was abysmal. It was trash. I ran like 3 miles on a treadmill a few weeks prior, and I knew I could do like a 10K run, and I do exercise, like I do weightlifting, but the extent of cardio that I did was like, I would do like 15 minutes on the Stairmaster or like 10 minutes on a stationary bike, but I knew I had the capacity to run like a little over 6 miles. So I felt confident that I could do it with minimal training, but you know what? I know now that if I did do a little bit more training, my time would have been a little bit better and I wouldn't have felt so lousy after the run, actually, which I'll talk about later. So the day before the race, I had to pick up my bib and some other equipment and check in at the Health Expo. And I really didn't know what to expect. When I got there, it was like a party. It was crazy. There was like colored lights, there was loud music. It was definitely a running party for sure. So at the Health Expo, I picked up my bib, I got a bracelet, I got some other stuff. I got my t-shirt, my 10K t-shirt. I got some other stuff. I got my bracelet to show that I'm 21 so that at the finish line I could get my free drink. There were also a lot of vendors and merchandise at the Health Expo. Lots of cool stuff, but I didn't really feel like buying anything. But yeah, it was really cool to see like what was offered and like the new technology that people offered, like in terms of recovery, massage guns, and supplements that people could take to make their running experience a lot better. So the next day, I was informed that the starting line was going to be at the starting village right outside the Park MGM. And I decided, I don't want to park, nor do I want to pay for parking. So I'm just going to take the bus to the starting line. Huge mistake. I didn't know that the buses wouldn't go like right up to it. And I knew that the streets would be closed, but I didn't know what extent that it would have affected the buses. So the bus that I took was the Tropicana bus heading eastbound, and so it only brought me to Valley View and Tropicana. So that gave me like another mile and a half that I had to walk in order to get to the starting line. And it wasn't that bad, but I'm like, ugh, I should have just gotten dropped off by like an Uber or something. So yeah, lesson for next time. So once I finally got to the starting village, it was an even bigger party there. There was a stage with performers. There's a huge amount of people, like from all walks of life. Everyone running the 10K, the half marathon. I saw everyone's bibs. Everyone was like dressed in their outfits. There was like this huge group of people in these like neon and red uniforms. There's people in tutus. There's people in costumes. There's people wearing the 10K, the half marathon t-shirt. It was really cool just to see how many different like outfits people were wearing that day. So yeah, there's a bunch of booths. Somehow I made it into the VIP section. The reason why I made it to the VIP section was just because I was looking for bag check, because I brought my backpack with me. So I was asking the security, hey, where do I check my bag in? So security didn't actually know where like the bag check-in was, so they pointed me to Allegiant Stadium. So I finally decided, okay, I'm gonna show them my bag, and I walked in, and then they just pointed me to an escalator going up, and I failed to see that there was a VIP sign. I was like, oh, look at all these people enjoying themselves. So I get out of the VIP section and I see that there's a UPS truck. So then I get in line, and then I hear someone say, oh, this is for VIP bag check-in. I'm like, okay, I'm definitely not going to be able to check my bag in here. So I go to the information booth and they tell me that the bag check-in is all the way at the front of the starting line. And I actually underestimated how long it would have taken for me to get there because it was really crowded, knowing that it's the starting line. So I made it to gear check-in like just in time with a few minutes to spare, and then I finally made it to the starting line. My group was the purple group, and I guess these are the people who estimated that they would be like the slowest because we were like all the way in the back. We were the last group to board, but you know, there's nothing wrong with that. But yeah, personally for me, I estimated that I would have finished the 10K in about 2 hours and 10 minutes, which was definitely not as long as it did take me. When I ran my half marathon, I ran it in like 2 hours 43 minutes or something like that. So I knew I would definitely run a 10K like significantly faster than that. So if you don't know about the Rock and Roll Las Vegas, the run takes place on the strip. Like I mentioned before, they shut the strip down from like 1 p.m. or something until like 11 p.m. So we run the entire strip. Well, I didn't run the entire strip, but if you're running the half marathon, you run pretty much from like M&M World on the strip all the way to downtown and back, which is like 13 miles. So yeah, that's pretty cool, and it's really cool to see like, you know, the casinos up close from the street. So while I was at the starting line, I actually ran into my friend Kyle from high school, and he was doing the half marathon with his wife, and yeah, it was really cool to see that they were starting with me, and you know, it was really cool to see a familiar face. So when we did finally get started and moved to the starting line, it was about like 5:15. We were told a time of like 4:35, but I guess that was just the check-in time to get to the loading point. So we started about like 5:10, 5:15. A few things that I did bring with me were my fanny pack. I brought a power bank, earbuds, which I should have used but didn't, chapstick. I got like a thing of honey to like boost myself up. I brought a towel, which were being given out for free, that were like branded with Golden Knights logos, and I brought a headband for my sweat. I also decided to run this race with my barefoot shoes. I'm sure if I actually wore like actual running shoes, I would have had a better time and like a better experience, but I wanted to try something different. I did my half marathon back in 2020 with actual running shoes, and the pain was definitely different from when I finished the half marathon versus when I had finished this 10K. But I heard it's better running with, you know, barefoot shoes, so try something different. So then I look around, and everyone around me is wearing like Hoka, New Balance, like running shoes with huge padding on the heel, and I'm pretty sure if I wore something like that, my calves wouldn't have been burning at the end of the race, but that's besides the point. Anyways, like I said, it was really cool to see like the casino fronts up close and from the view from the strip as we were running. There were rock bands playing, there were people cheering us on, there were cops everywhere. Honestly, it was really cool, and I really felt safe like with all the blockades and the entertainment going on around us. If you want to run the strip at night, definitely try this run out. I didn't look at any footage of like people running this prior, so I really didn't know what to expect, and I'm glad I didn't, because it was really cool like experiencing things like for the first time and like kind of as a surprise. So it was really cool, you know, not having like a huge expectation of what the run would have been like. So, you know, not looking at any footage really, you know, gave me a better experience, and it was really a pleasant surprise to see like all the things going on during the entire 10K. As I approach the finish line, there's like a definite difference between like the half marathon runners and the 10K runners. Since we're all going to the same finish line, like you could see the 10K runners are like, they have excellent form, they're just focused on the finish line. And then like people in the 10K, you know, I'm guilty of this too, but like, you know, we started like walking a little bit, we're taking pictures of everything, and you know, we're just, my personal goal wasn't to like beat any time. I just wanted to finish and not finish last. And you know, I'm glad that I took all the footage that I had. It was really a great experience seeing all of the lights and all of the people cheering us on as we approached the finish line. So I'm glad that I took more of a leisurely approach and didn't take it too seriously. So when we finally did get to the finish line, there was a lot of bananas, and some of the first things that people were handing us were like full-sized water bottles, bags full of snacks, and bananas. So yeah, something else that also surprised me was the dance floor. I knew that there was a dance floor because of the map they would give us, but I was just still surprised that there was a DJ, and they expected people to like kind of dance after like a huge run. Usually after you exert yourself physically, you don't want to do anything else. You want to do everything that you want to do in your power to recover from that strenuous activity. So, but it was cool like vibing out with people for a few seconds. But as much as I wanted to bust a move, and you guys know I like to dance, yeah, didn't stick around the dance floor for too long. I just wanted to get out of there and go home. Thankfully, the last thing I had to do was find my bag, and it was pretty easy finding the huge line of UPS trucks. So I got my bag and I exited. And one thing that I kind of wish didn't happen was that there was only one point of exit for like everybody. And I get that there's like security reasons that they do that, but yeah, it really bottlenecked us leaving. And if you close a whole strip off, like you only have one exit for all the runners, it just seemed kind of weird. And what's worse was like people were blocking the exit. I guess they were waiting for people to leave, but yeah, it was just really difficult and really crowded, brushing up against people as I was trying to leave. But I got out safely, so something happened right. So why did I choose to do this race? I actually registered for this race back in July. I had been subscribed to some newsletters for running, and I decided, you know what, I want to challenge myself. I did this in 2020, well, something similar at least. And you know what, I want to challenge myself physically this year. Back in July, I was going through a lot of changes. I had a career change. I was getting into acting. So I wanted to say, you know what, let me do something physical and see how much I can really push myself and, see what I'm really capable of. So I decided, you know what, why not just try this Rock and Roll Las Vegas? I hear people love doing it. I hear my running friends doing it, and you know what, honestly, I just wanted to run, get the medal, and then get out. But everything else, like the music, the bands, the experience of running on the strip and while having it closed, all of that was a bonus for me, to be honest. So I had a really great time. And one thing that I actually did forget was how expensive it was. I forgot that it was like $120 when I registered for it, but I realized like if I want to run, I don't have to pay somebody $120 to do that. But what I was paying for was like the experience, the snacks, the medal, everything else that made the run the Rock and Roll run. So in conclusion, do I wish I trained a little bit more? Definitely yes. I think next time I'll probably ask ChatGPT to make a really good training program for myself. But yeah, after all of this, in conclusion, train for stuff, especially for a long distance run, because preparation doesn't remove the pain from when you do something difficult. It just gives you the strength to endure that pain when it finally does come. Jeez, I have like 20 minutes of footage I gotta edit. It's all good. Cut.